Of course, man. What's up? How can I help you out today?
So last time we spoke, we were talking about switching over to doing some pre-probates and pre-probates, basically, Toledo, if you remember. So I've started that process, and basically I've actually started it locally as well in North Jersey, which if you know already, it's quite difficult in North Jersey to get the probates. When you go down to the court, they have this wonderful system that you have to know the docket number and all of the other information. You can't sort it by date. You have to know the name. So there's some ways around it that you can get around it. But on Toledo, that was great. So what I've started to do is get some of the information in Toledo, and that's my virtual market. So what my question is with that information, I'm supposed to be focusing on the descendants of the people that I get from the probates, right? And try to sift through that as much as possible. Should I be cold calling these people, do you think? I mean, I'm texting Toledo. Should I be focusing on cold calling the descendants? Might be a little bit better.
Cold calling to be the best for probate, hands down.
Okay. All right. So that's what I'm trying to do right now is get all the information together, because these things are, you look at obituaries. The only way I can do things here is I have to get the information beforehand and then go down. And then when the people start to get into the system, I got to check names. It's a real headache. Some places like you were showing in Florida are pretty easy as far as getting information where you guys are. So
some were difficult. I had to work months to get that info.
It's not as easy. Listen, we've had some serious challenges. So it's what drives me crazy is we have over 3,500 counties in this country, and it's just nothing's the same. I'll go 10 miles over in one county, and I might as well go to North Dakota because it's completely different. Okay. The laws are the same, but how their policies and procedures. And for that fact, it's very hard to scale probates on a national thing. That's the good news. So if you can dial in your local market, which ones you want to do. Mm-hmm. So we used to do up to 7 counties at one point. It required so much staff and so much energy. It was driving us nuts. So we picked the most prolific counties and we got the most deals. This is after 2 years of data, and we dialed in it. It just takes some time. But you got to look at your tolerance level. It's a pain in the butt. Don't get me wrong, but there is always a level of difficulty in anything that's hard to do in life. Yeah. And you got to, I'm not asking people to climb through landmines or climb a 400-foot wall. You got to just be persistent.
Right.
And some counties I'll be honest, some just aren't worth it. They make it so difficult. I can't spend 4 hours getting one list sitting there in person, which we've done before.
Yeah.
And I want the competitive advantage, but I can't drive myself nuts doing it. So in the beginning, when I first started on this mission of probates, I did it myself. My wife helped me. I brought in another employee, and we just some were easy and some were hard. And you'll have to make that determination which one we do. Some we had to pay for some lists, some we got online, some we'd go to the court. We were going to the courthouse twice a week because we were having such good success with it. The only difference I can tell you is find the ones that aren't going to drive you insane, meaning make you quit doing it, and then just be as consistent as possible. I could get 3,500 people, 3,500 different counties, and I guarantee you we'd have to solve the problem a different way each time, but the same blueprint's pretty much the same. So I did 7. To be honest, I'm down to 3 because it's just that the 4 are just cost prohibitive. We just can't make it work. I don't work free. I don't want you to do it either. So you're gonna have to weigh it in. Just don't go into probates, do it like everybody else is, and just quit after a month. It is a marathon. It is a turtle race. And so many people, tell me if this is true, they get into wholesaling and they think it's this mad dash sprint. And what drives me nuts is people get into wholesaling, they have success for 2 or 3 years, and then they go do other things. And then they do things that didn't quite work out. They got to figure out how to do it. And then some of them gravitate back to wholesaling, and then some gravitate toward coaching, all these other things, self-development. I'm here to tell you, stick with what works. The stuff that's not sexy, it's not like front headlines, that's what's going to make you. That's why I've been doing this 20 years, guys. The methods I teach are the ones that make me the most money. I'd like to tell you I do all these other crazy things that all these gurus teach. I've tried. It's just a waste of time. I always go back to what works the best. Find the most motivated list and find a way to contact them without driving yourself absolutely nuts. I don't believe in having a staff of 10 or 15. Nobody ever stands the test of time in that. I've been doing this 20 years. I can't tell you how many people, there's probably a half dozen people that have done it with bigger staff. And I don't see that they make some more money, but they give up a lot of their time and a lot. I don't want to go to an office every day. I didn't get in this business to go to an office every day. I did that for the first 12 years of my corporate career. I don't want to do that. And I'm in control of everything I do with that. And wholesaling is, you can really make it whatever you want. People's theory that you can scale this into a multi-billion or $100 million industry, it's a fairy tale. I'm here to tell you. Yeah. So stick with what's going to make you comfortable and get you, not comfortable, what's going to get you traction. Probate is, you have to decide, okay, I got so many counties. I always tell people, start with one county and master it. Don't add another one, because every one you add adds a level of complexity to logistics, and it will drive you nuts, especially if you're a one-person operator.
So I saw another thing was I saw Zach had a video with another guy. This is about maybe 6 months ago. That was from Essex County, New Jersey. And so what he did is he was pulling the same things, and he had to talk. He mentioned about pre-probates. So pre-probates, I'm also pulling on PropStream for my virtual and around this area too. And as far as I know, pre-probates are just a death record cross-reference with a bunch of other things. So it's more sensitive. You know, your video, Rick, that you posted, 3 to 6 months ago, you're talking about the sensitivity of calling someone before it goes into probate. So how should you approach the pre-probates if you're going to do that? What do you think?
It's really the same strategy. So a pre-probate is a strategy. Actually, I got to give it to PropStream for creating it. It's brilliant what they did. Do you know how much energy that would take you or me to like try to pull that information on a regular basis? We don't have access to death records, all that other stuff. So it is a wide net you cast. Okay. So if I'm fishing, I use a specific lure to try to get a specific fish at a specific area. When you do a pre-probate, it's just a big giant net, and you're going to get all sorts of crap in it. Some people don't actually have probates. Some people don't even own real estate. Like, so it's not perfect, but for like the single operator that doesn't want to mess with probates and doesn't want to get in the weeds on it, it's a dynamite strategy. It is the same approach when you do them. Like so when I do a pre-probate, I don't make it a big deal, the probate itself. I just focus, see if they have interest in selling, the property in question here. And that's it. Whenever we're doing a cold call to a probate or a letter, it's a little bit different because they know specifically what you're calling for. Pre-probate, right? Just be yourself. Just understand when you're calling on them, you're just more sensitive to them, and try not to close them in one phone call.
Yeah.
There's so many, like the wholesalers I learned from, and a lot of the people, the old timers that taught me this business, they wanted to like meet with people one shot and get it done. And back then you could do that because there was a lot of motivated sellers. It was just much easier, and it was a secret strategy nobody shared with anyone. And the old timers goes, listen, if they don't do a deal by the time you're done meeting with them, move on to the next. Wow. And unfortunately today that doesn't hold true at all. So the average probate is about 6 contacts before you even get price. And that's the only change I would make when you make cold call to the pre-probates, because the idea is they are the perfect ones if it all comes true. So the fact that there's a death certificate and there's a property record doesn't always make it perfect, but where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Now, here's the really good news. You don't have to do those every month, like to a point, because I find them sometimes overlapping. So it's not going to be nearly as perfect as probates that you're going to pull at your count at the county level. So we've gotten deals off it. It's a wide net. And I want you to understand this. Here's another key factor is pre-probates. You understand not every property goes through probate. Properties in trust, properties in all sorts of like settings and corporations. Did you know a lot of married, like in the state of Florida, if you own, I'm not going to get the legalities of title, I'm not a lawyer, but if you own in joint tenantship and one dies and the other one's still surviving, the surviving one can basically file for what they call a homestead exemption. They use their homestead exemption to basically get the property pulled out of probate. Now, a lot of them get tickled by they have to file a probate, and that would bring most investors in. But understanding almost half the properties get removed, don't even qualify for probate. And pre-probates will catch those properties that you're not going to get at the local courthouse. And so that has value once you identify that. That's why I was so excited when they came out with this pre-probate filter, because it saved me. Guys, for me to pull every property with a death record and a property record, it's thousands of dollars. And now it's all included in your like membership for your 10,000 motivated seller leads a month. And it was an absolute game changer. So keep that in mind. The pre-probates, they'll catch properties that don't actually need to go through probate. Not everyone that passes away, their property goes probate. That's misconception. And number two, it's just a really wide net. And for efficiency, some people go, listen, I'm just going to do the pre-probate because I don't have time to do that. Maybe I got a full-time job. Maybe I just don't have the patience to go down to the courthouse to do it. And that's fine. You now have an option with PropStream using listrei.com. I'm just telling you, it's a game changer when it comes. I hate that word, so I'm going to replace it. But it's like you've got to understand, the guy who started this, I had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ListSource almost on a monthly basis to get access for what we get today for like $100. It's insanity. 15, 25 cents a lead. And Skip Trace, when I first started Skip Trace, it was $1.50 per number. So the good news is it's much more efficient. It's much more fast data. So you've got to learn to become faster and learn how to talk to people more and more. Remember, we're not selling. All we are is qualifying and helping people out in a win-win situation. The people that don't want to work with you, send them on the realtors and just filter them. Find the most motivated people. But I love the pre-probate. I love this strategy. And if I started out today, I would be all over it because it's a one-person operator. That's what it's built.
Okay. Yeah, that's it pretty much. Talk to you guys next time around. Thanks a lot.
Okay. All right, awesome, man.